Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Freer, and I'm the business librarian here at RIT. It's my job to help students, staff, and faculty navigate the various business resources available to you. I can also offer suggestions on which resources are right for seeking different types of information or for a particular type of project. And I can provide you with training on different databases, and I can also suggest search strategies. I can also offer advice or caution when a particular piece of information may not exist, or when that piece of information might exist, but you won't have access through the RIT library. One way to think of how a librarian helps is they offer expert guidance as you seek information. They can ultimately save you time. So let's get started. IBISWorld allows you to search or browse. To search, simply type in a keyword in the center window, and it will resolve to the items that have that title or that word occurs in the body of the report. Alternately, you can browse using the Industry Research button at the top, and you can browse by NAICS or specialized industry. The NAICS browsing mimics the NAICS codes put out by the US government. Navigating a report, you will see that the report has chapters on the left-hand side, and then when you open up each chapter, there is a subchapter. To the left of the report title, there is a download icon. Reports can be downloaded as PDF, Word, or Excel documents. The Excel documents contain statistics and data points only. The PDF and Word versions are narrative, graphics, and data. Regarding frequency, the reports are updated 1 to 4 times a year. The date of each report is just under the report title. Industry reports reflect major industry coding systems like SIC or NAICS, also known as NAICS. These reports are longer and more detailed than iExpert summaries. iExpert summary reports are quick snapshots of industries. U.S. specialized industry reports cover industries not found in typical coding systems like SIC or NAICS. U.S. specialized iExpert summaries are quick snapshots. U.S. business environment profiles provide external factors and drivers around subjects like consumers, financial markets, and demographics. Use IBISWorld for macro industry overviews. When reading a report online, navigate through the report using the left-hand panel. A few highlights. The About section contains supply chain information. Industry at a glance contains a SWOT. Products and markets has state and county level data on numbers of establishments. When you are in an industry report, you can toggle easily to the iExpert report. Notice in the iExpert report, you have some new options, and one of them is role-specific questions. This might come in handy if you're going to do a job interview or an informational interview with an individual in a particular industry. This has been a very brief demo of IBISWorld. Explore the database in both the way that you can do searching and the content. Skim through the reports to see the breadth of information that is available. Let's start with Mintel. You need to enter Mintel from any library gateway, from the InfoGuides or the database page. Mintel will not allow you into the database unless you go through the RIT Library, because it won't know that you're a subscriber. So you can see here, I'm getting prompted for my RIT login. And you can use Mintel from anywhere in the world. This is a contract that Mintel gives everybody. In the case of an academic library, we're agreeing this will be used only for class project. This is the type of product that you would buy if you were an entrepreneur or you worked in a corporation. So you can only use this for things going on in the classroom. You can't use this when you go on co-op, and you can't use it for your own personal businesses. So let's do some navigating around Mintel. A couple main features. You can see, of course, immediately that they're letting you know of different reports in the database. The one on the cover here is the Gen Z Diner. So that's a mashup of a demographics database with the food service industry. We have here over on the left the field that says I'm looking for. That's your search box where you can search for words in a title or words that occur within inside a database. We have ways to filter, so we could filter by different product categories. Whenever you see an arrow or a caret off to the right, you will then get more underlying areas, and you can see that these are all consumer products. Mintel is a tool that you use for consumer marketing, not business to business marketing. You can also filter by region, but we only buy things for the United States. You can do different trend drivers. This is another way a marketer could try to understand what's going on with people they want to sell to. And most importantly, you can also use demographics. And what's going to happen in this particular class is you have something that's brand new. It's highly unlikely that you're going to find a pre-made report because your product isn't supposed to exist yet in the United States. But you will definitely find reports on the demographics that you want to target. Something new in Mintel, due to the current coronavirus or COVID situation, they have started to update reports because basically this virus around the world and in the United States has changed almost every single industry. So you can go into the COVID section to read updates. So if we click on COVID, it will tell us post-COVID information. So sometimes it's going to be embedded in the report, like in the television advertising report. Other times, the report itself will have COVID-19 in the title. This is going to help you understand how analysts at Mintel have observed markets have changed, or how they think markets will be changed. You can also see when you're looking at a report, and you know that because on the bottom right hand side it will say report. If there's a banner on the top left hand side on that report icon includes COVID impact, you'll know that the report has been updated. Let's do a quick navigation into a report so I can highlight the main features it will have. Let's take a look at this Gen Z Diner report. So we can see as I roll over, read report, you get a quick table of contents, and this is going to be a similar table of contents for almost every report. They have a very nice standardized structure in Mintel. When you get into the report, a couple of the main features. You have your title at the top. Off to the right hand side, you have your author. This will be important for your citation. Paragraph out of the report. In the download section here, you do have an official executive summary in PDF format. You have access to the full report, and you have access to what's called the data book. That's extremely important. That is the raw Excel spreadsheet data of the questions that they asked focus groups or mall intercepts to get an idea of how consumers, in this case it's probably Gen Z diners, are reacting to the current situation. If you scroll down a little bit more, the data book is also accessible to you in the form of an interactive data book where you can build charts and graphs. And then the full report, if you want to view it online, is available through this table of contents. Each one of these accordions opens up and has more sections within it. So if you needed to know more about the market size and forecast of a particular product or service, you would open up market, go to market size and forecast, and it will take you to that section. You can see here that the reports are a combination of paragraph narrative along with table, charts, graphs, and data tables. So this table, if I want to see the fuller time series, including forecasts out to 2025, I can open up the table, and this is telling us this table is total U.S. revenues. You will see other tables throughout the report that deal more with the lifestyles. In the case of this table, what is your comfort level of dining? Would you dine outside or inside? And then, of course, we want to watch the date, and the field date on this is July 28th to August 4th, 2020, so that we know for sure that, yes, this is a post-COVID survey. To navigate back to the beginning of the report, simply click on the title of the report. My recommendation for getting this information out is to grab the full report and the data book. This particular URL at the top is what we call permanent. If you were to grab this and email it to yourself, you could get back to this report. But the thing you can't count on is the internet being stable or your access being stable. So I highly recommend grabbing the PDF full report and the data book. So let's open up the data book. The data book has downloaded itself onto my computer, and my computer is set up to read that file format as Excel. Let's drag it over into your window. And this data book is made up of multiple worksheets, as you see at the bottom. Each worksheet represents a question that was asked a group of internet users who are between the ages of 18 and 25. It tells us that the fieldwork was done in 2020. And this, even though the narrative reports are great to help get you up to speed, this is really where the richness of Mintel comes to life, because this helps you see the actual data, and data where they've started to cross-tabulate things. So if we look at question 4, how often have you gone to restaurants for each of the following meals or times in the past 3 months by demographics, it corresponds to a worksheet at the bottom, and I can just click right on, and it will take me to that worksheet. At the top, it will tell me what the question was that the individuals were asked, and in this case, the question is, how often have you gone to restaurants for each of the following meals or times of days in the past 3 months? 3 months. Along the left hand, we see that we get the demographics by age, age and income, area, what is your child's status in the household, gender, etc. So we have quite a few different demographics. And then they are being cross-tabulated with the answer. How often do you go to restaurants? I go a few times a week. Everybody says 17%. Let's see which one of these is going the most a few times a week. It looks like males, Hispanic males. Out of gender, also that. Males more than females. And you can see here, you can start to parse out urban individuals more so than rural. Though, you could assume that's for another reason, right? Maybe access to restaurants potentially, or distance. If you live in a rural area, it might be an hour to get to a town center or a village center. So this is really, really rich with the different things you can start to understand about a particular demographic. And then the report is this information in a narrative format. Complementing Mintel, we have access to Passport. Mintel and Passport are competitors. They only contain information about consumer markets. Passport is a product that is sold to consumer market companies to make decisions about selling products in different geographies around the world. Right now, you're only concerned with 2 tabs. One on the top is the Industries tab, and the second is the Consumers tab. If you roll your cursor over Industries, you get a drop-down menu to the various consumer products, services, and supply elements that our subscription to Passport covers. You can then start to browse inside of each of these. So if I was working on coffee, I might go to hot drinks. I then scroll down to the country report section. I select a specific category of hot drink that I'm interested in, coffee. That unlocks the geography section. And I look for USA. I choose USA, hit go. I am now in the analysis section of coffee. It's going to give me both narrative on the left-hand side and data on the right. I can start to browse here and read. I could also, within the toolbar in the center, I could go straight to the download section and download the entire report. It is now in a PDF format that I now have page numbers, and I can browse through the table of contents. I could also go through the data graphics and the context if these are specific areas that I'm interested in. You, though, are probably starting out needing the broader analysis of coffee and not the specifics. The second area, in addition to industries, that you want to go to is the consumers area. This will help you understand the digital consumer, households, income, etc. Let's just show how to use this by highlighting the households area. Again, you're going to scroll down to get to the country reports, because for the moment, we're only interested in the US. Now for lifestyles, you have to go section by section. So if we start with the consumer overview, with the geography becoming available to us, we scroll down to USA, and we can take a look. So here we are. Inside the analysis, we have a table of contents that allows us to navigate through different sections. The arrow on the left-hand side allows me to get access to a PDF or a PowerPoint that I can download. Always make sure that you understand what is the date of a report, because it might be stuck in time. In addition to navigating using these pre-made categories, I can also use the search bar available in Passport, and I could limit to just the statistics available or the analysis. So let's say I didn't know, or I didn't see in the industry section a type of product that I wanted to get a report on. I would hit analysis, start to type in that word. So let's do energy. As I start to type in a word, it will let me know what it has that word. So this is giving me a clue that it does have energy drink reports. And notice all of the titles are energy drinks in name of country. So I could start out by typing in energy drinks in US, Or off on the bottom right hand side, I could go and I could browse View All Reports. Now, one of the tricks with the energy drink reports in here is it varies how it names the United States. So they call it energy drinks in the US. So it can get a little tricky, so it might be worth viewing all results. Passport's an extraordinarily powerful product. We are buying it in general as it is sold to corporations. I say in general because we don't buy all of the industries or all of the modules. So using a combination of browsing and the search bar, you'll be able to get an idea if your industry that you are trying to be parallel to is available in here. After searching Mintel and Passport, take a look in ProQuest for news that might cover your demographic or the type of product that you are similar to. ProQuest is like Netflix or Hulu. It has content that it has leased and it's putting a search engine on top of it. There's a lot of full text in here. There are articles from the New York Times, from regional newspapers, and from magazines. So at first ProQuest dumps you into a basic search screen. So you could start to type in a term, and you might type in energy drinks with coffee. But what you want to do is you want to get away from phrases. So even though it's suggesting some other energy drink combinations, here's some of the tips and tricks to working in this product. The first thing, if you're going to use basic search, toss your phrase into quotation marks to keep the two words together. And if you want the word energy drinks to fall close to the word coffee, you can use the command near / and let's say 10. This means I want the phrase energy drinks to fall within 10 words of the word coffee. This is what is called a proximity search. Now I'm just going to run this search. I'm not worried right now about what type of item it is or what the date is of the item. So it shows me my search that I just ran up at the top. It shows me how many items I got. The items are sorted in relevance order, but I could change that to have the most current things fall up to the top. I'm not going to do that just yet. I could limit it just to full text items. Now, one reason you may not want to do that is this product is peeking into the other databases, and there is no one database that has all the articles in full text, just like there's not one single movie service that has every single movie. Now, source type becomes very important for marketing research because this class is about actually what's happening in the world. It's not about studying it after the fact, which is what scholarly journals tend to be about. So you want to go to the More button and open up this window to only choose. I only want newspapers and trade journals and magazines. These are very good choices for learning what is going on in the world. You could also choose reports. There are some market research reports in here. You could also choose wire feeds. These are press releases coming from different companies and products. Stay away from historical newspapers, but for the moment, I'm going to just go with these three. Now this will reduce the number of results we get. So now we're down to 3,000 results. Again, they're sorted in relevance order. So now let's deal with our dates. And we can use their pre-made choices, 12 months, 5 years. I could also select a custom date range. So maybe I'm going to choose 2018 Let's just pick July 1st of 2018, and then I'm going to leave the to field just open-ended. That way, if I was to save this search, if something came up tomorrow, I could get that in this list also. Now we're down to 372 results, and at this point you have to start to make some decisions. You can start to look at items, and you will see that some things appear to be in here. So here's a beverage industry supplement. Beverage Industry is a trade magazine, and this is confirmed for us over on the left-hand side, that is geared to only the beverage industry. So here's an interesting article, and it's grabbing my eye because of the title. I then look at the date off on the right-hand side, pretty current, August 2019. Now this is before COVID. You happen to be in a very unique situation in that there was a worldwide event that happened that impacted every industry. But let's say you like this one, the energizing the beverage market. You could open up just the text, or you could open up the PDF. Let's just open up the text to start, because you might have noticed that some of the words are highlighted in yellow. So I can start to browse down and look for where my terms might be highlighted. And here we are, coffee, energy drinks, and RTD coffee, ready to drink coffee. Now sometimes this works great, and other times the words are near each other but not related to each other. So certainly people might experience a crash with coffee and energy drinks. Okay, it's offering a little bit of caution. And at this point, I might not read the entire article, but I might want to email it to myself. And there's an email function over on the right-hand side. And what I do is I copy the title of the article. I open up the email function. I choose the type of citation format that I need for my class. So I'm going to say APA 6th edition. I put in my email address. I don't have to put in my name, but it does want something in the field, so I'm just going to put the initial J. And then, remember I copied the title? I'm going to toss that into the subject field. That way, when I get 10, 20 emails, I can start to use the subject field as a way to decide which article do I want to look at first. So let's look at the citation. A word of caution about the citations, sometimes they are wrong in here. So you want to be aware of what the format is supposed to be like, and if they've done it correctly or if they've done it wrong. So we go back to our results, and you start to go through these to start to decide what might work for you to help you understand what is going on in that market. And again, you can narrow it down even more and say, no, 2018 was too far back. I want to limit just to this year, so let's bring it up to 2020, January 1st of 2020 to the present, apply. So you have a couple choices that you can make on the filter. Now, if you felt like you still had a ton of things, you could also say, you know what, I only want to find things from the New York Times, or I only want to find things from a publication that you are aware is in here. And the way that would work is you would go to Modify Search, and in a basic search field, you would type in capital letters, PUB. Now you have to know the name of the publication and that it is in here. New York Times, and hit search. Now I kind of doubt I'll get a hit. I think I'm going to get 0. 96 is certainly more than I expected to get. And so these are items that are only from the New York Times. I have to redo my dates, so let's choose this time to do last 12 months. And we're down to 3. And it may or may not be in the way that you expected the articles to discuss these topics. So now we were showing here how to do basic search in this field. If you can't remember those commands, you also have access to advanced search. And you can say, I only want items from a specific publication, and I only want items on a topic or subject. This sometimes doesn't work well for newspapers. That's why I like the proximity searching. And you can also say right here, I only want things from the last 3 months. You have to be really creative in searching in here. And you have to be patient. I don't search for more than 20 minutes at a time in here, and then I assess where I am. So I will literally put a timer on one of the tabs in my browser and start to search. And then I will search for 20 minutes, and then I will assess. And this is where you can also reach out to me as you're struggling or finding it challenging doing searches in here. Because business research is not easy to do. The scientific fields, engineering, all of those, they're very easy to search because there's an organized structure to articles and items. And in business research, you don't have that. So you have to be creative in these databases. One of the other items that you need to do an analysis of is the SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And though you are going to be writing up your own SWOT analysis, you do have a couple places to look at analysis done by other experts. So on the library guide, go over to the SWOT tab. And we have here a couple databases that have SWOT that are already written. You are not copying these, you're simply using them as a point of reference. One of the issues with any of the SWOT that is already in here is that it's stuck in time. And most of them have probably not been updated since the COVID crisis. So that's certainly one big either threat, weakness, or opportunity your company may face. I've also provided a book that's up on the 4th floor if you want to take a look at it, and it includes a chapter on SWOT analysis. So where you're going to go is we have 4 databases that can help you with SWOT. The first one is Business Insights. The second is Business Source. The third is Passport, and the fourth is Nexus. 3 of these will have SWOT analysis. The fourth, Passport, will have information that will help you to rate yours. So if we go in to Business Insights, this dumps you into the section of this database that has individual SWOT analysis. And here they are listed in, I'm not exactly sure what order they are listed in. It is not chronological order. You can search within the results using this box on the left-hand side. So if I go in and I want to see if they're providing access to a Starbucks SWOT, and not every company gets a SWOT analysis. Here's a Starbucks SWOT. First thing you're going to want to notice is the date. How old is it? And this is actually kind of current. So this is post-COVID, June 1st, 2020. It is in PDF format. Open it up, and you will have access to the PDF to download it. So it is from a company called Global Data. It's offering a financial and strategic analysis review. And there is the SWOT box. And then you also want to look in any one that you get is to see if they also have some narrative about what's going on. And in this case, as we went down to page 3, we're getting slight narrative as to what's going on. It is also possible it's just for the individual stock price, or it's just for another aspect that this analyst was interested in. So that's Business Insights Essentials to get that SWOT. Back to the LibGuide. If you go into Business Source Premier, this subscription will end in December of 2020, and it will revert back to Business Source Elite. you're going to go into here and you're going to click on Company Profiles. And you can see here, there are, in alphabetical order, a list of different SWOT, of different market reports, company reports that are available. You're going to search for your company name. You'll have to be careful. Right now this is stuck in alphabetical searching. You can also change it to match any words. This will vary depending on your company name. And there is the Starbucks Market Line Report. This is more than just a SWOT analysis. And what you're going to do, you're going to go into the table of contents for your company and look for where it says SWOT analysis. Not every company gets a SWOT analysis. And it takes us down and gives us both the box and the narrative. You want to be careful in this report. I have to go back to the cover. The date is buried right here. So where the Business Insights Essentials SWOT was in June of this year, this is January of this year. So I would expect the information in these two to be different, but they can still help inform you about understanding the company. Back to the info guide. I'm going to jump to Nexus Uni. Once in Nexus Uni, you're going to start with the Advanced Search button on the left. Choose Company and Financial. Choose Company Profiles. In the first field, pull the field down and type in your company name. In the second field, leave the field at All Fields and type in SWOT. You may also want to change your date ranges. So maybe you want to say anything that is after, let's say, January 1st of 2019. And hit search. And I find I get one SWOT. It's very current, July 30th, 2020. It's inside global data. And this probably starts to look familiar. I almost think this was the same company that was offering. It is the one in Business Insights Essentials. But in Nexus Uni, they're offering it just as text. And it's more current than the one that was in Business Insights. Let's go back to the info guide. Passport. Passport doesn't have a specific SWOT available to you, but for consumer market research companies like a Starbucks, companies that are selling items to consumers for consumption, you will find company reports. You're going to go up here on the top left and click on Companies. Type in your company name, and before you hit search, let the tool tell you if they have a report. And they do. Starbucks. I'm going to hit enter now. I actually don't have to hit enter now. It's bringing up the Starbucks report. They don't have local companies. They only have the global Starbucks. And on the left here, we have the table of contents for this report. And you get access to a download button. So if you click on the download button, you can download the document as a PDF. You can also grab it as a PowerPoint. Let's open up the PDF. So they don't have anything in here that is specifically called SWOT, but they do have different information in here, like competitive positioning, key findings that can help you start to understand some of the facts that might help you come to a conclusion within your SWOT analysis. Information on their strategy, where they're doing licensing partnerships. So this might be opportunities. So you have to read this to make some decisions about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let's go back to the info guide. And that's where you're going to get some information to help you to form SWOT, some pre-written information. Having searched Mintel, Passport, and looking for news in ProQuest, in addition to going to company websites, you should now have enough information to be able to start to write up your own SWOT analysis. Thank you for watching this library instruction video. I hope you found it helpful. It is possible you still have outstanding questions about how to use a resource or where to look for a particular type of piece of information, and that's why you can reach out to me by chat, email, or by making an appointment on our LibCal system. All that information is available to you on the end slide and within the information of this YouTube video. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I am here to help you, and that's my job. Okay, happy researching.